Welcome back to the Content Swap Podcast, a podcast where we swap a piece of content at the end of each episode and then we discuss it for the entirety of the next episode. Mm-hmm. You are joined by your hosts, Parker and
Aaliyah.
And before we dive into this week's picks, we always like to give a little news update on how life is going, and because there's always some interesting things going on. So take it away. What's going on?
This week we saw Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
And loved it. We liked Barbie a little bit more than we liked Oppenheimer. But both were great. So.
Yeah. Any thoughts on why you liked Barbie more than you liked Oppenheimer?
I don't want to say because it is so new still. I want to give people time to go see it. And I think what I liked about the way they did their marketing is you just don't know what to expect. Like there
from
was
either one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of know what to expect from Oppenheimer because it's like real life. But like, I feel like for Barbie especially, no one really knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, all I can say about Barbie is that watching the trailers, it looks like it was going to be one thing, but felt like when I watched it, it was going to be something else. Yeah. But then when we did watch it, it was kind of like a whole other thing.
Yeah. That
was kind of like a blend of the two.
Yeah.
That I really resonated with.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah. No, it was great. Like, go see it.
And wear your pink.
Yeah, wear pink. Fully commit. Tell everybody you love to go see it.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie that people will be better off watching it than if they didn't watch it. I think it is destined, or at least I hope it is destined to have like a profound positive impact on society and a new generation, and even hopefully the current generation of men, women, and everything in between.
Yeah. I mean, going into it, I knew it was going to have a message, and I had an idea of what that message would be, but I think it delivered the message in a way different way and in a whole different, I don't know, it was just way different than I anticipated, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it had a lot more fun delivering that message than you ever would have thought it would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer, go read a history book. And
No, still go see it.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty solid movie. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's
a commitment.
Yeah. I think Barbie's going to win the box office. I think Oppenheimer's going to win the ratings, the review scores, the review aggregation score. It's going to win that, but I think Barbie's going to win the box office because it's not rated R, so that instantly opens it up to a lot more people.
That's true.
It's trying to appeal to all audiences, and Oppenheimer is I think Oppenheimer is going to make more money because of Barbie.
I was thinking that because I never in a million years would have cared to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I feel like without this whole Barbenheimer thing, and just the funniness of the juxtaposition of the two, I wouldn't go. I'd be like, you can go see that by yourself. I don't care to see that. But because having it paired with Barbie and the way
that
that
cultural moment.
Yeah, it's I have to see both.
Yeah.
That's just so interesting. The two, they're such starkly different. And so I agree that I think Oppenheimer probably is going to do better than it would have without Barbie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I guess that's all I'll say about Oppenheimer. Yeah. It's still good. It's Christopher Nolan, so they get a little wild with the editing. So pay attention.
You have to.
Put your best ears on, because, ooh.
Maybe take notes.
Yeah. Maybe read up on all of
that's true. I
the
think that
names and the actors who are playing those names, so that when they say, Dr. So-and-so, you know who they're talking about.
I needed a roster.
Yeah.
To be like, who?
Yeah. A picture, some kind of PowerPoint presentation with a quiz.
Give yourself a quiz.
Prior to watching it. But yeah, that would have been really helpful, actually.
Yeah. It would have. But even with the confusion of it, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Intense.
Yeah. No, yeah. Great soundtrack. I was working on my music of the year playlist today, and I didn't know that Ludwig Göransson did the soundtrack for this movie, or the score.
I don't know who that is.
Ludwig Göransson, he's kind of like the big man,
Yeah.
the big shot right now, the next generation of John Williams,
Oh.
but in a totally different kind of way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like the biggest movies, the biggest things. Ludwig Göransson, he's doing the soundtrack, so or the score. So he did The Mandalorian, he did Black Panther, he did this. He's done a lot.
Yeah.
You go check it out, and you're like, oh my god, Ludwig Göransson, he's kind of on top right now as far as like film composers go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are they affected by the strike?
I mean, everybody that works in that industry is affected by the strike because film productions are just shut down.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Are like, do film composers count as writers?
Yeah.
I don't think so. They I don't know. They might be able to keep working. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't know. Like, are the editors who have finished film put in front of them? I think they can keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah. The National Editing Society.
Yeah. The NEA.
I'm sure they probably do have some kind of
everything
union
has
for that.
an association, you know.
Yeah. No, I don't. No. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, are casting directors still working? Maybe not
they
because of
can't
the
cast
actors.
anyone,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. But what about all this stuff about like
Hiring content creators.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like, if you hire content creators, then don't they then become part of SAG?
I don't know. I don't think by acting you automatically
I thought
get membership to SAG.
I thought it's like if you
the Screen Actors Guild of America.
I thought it's like if you have a speaking role in anything, then you can get a SAG card.
You can, but I don't think you're automatically
It's like an
enrolled.
application thing.
Maybe. I remember Tommy Wiseau when we did The Room episode, episode 4, throwback, so like 60 episodes ago. But I remember he wanted to get SAG membership, and in order to do that, he had to film. His workaround was to film his own commercial for his own product, where he starred in the commercial.
Yeah.
And then he was able to apply to SAG.
Interesting. I think I like read somewhere, like it was like Brad Pitt or something, like one of his very first roles, and he was like, I didn't have like a speaking line, like I was just like an extra, I guess, but like, you know, an extra that has like, you see them clearly, like they were like he was like a waiter or something, and he was like, I just said words because I wanted like SAG membership or something, and I was like, what?
You do need to get your SAG membership if you're going to
pursue
not
acting.
Get screwed over in the industry.
Dang. Oh, what a wild industry.
I mean, it gives you so many like
benefits.
Workers' rights and benefits. Yeah. So it just makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that is going on right now. So if you're listening to this 2 years from now and you're looking for a little time capsule of what was going on,
it's wild out here.
Yeah, it's wild out here. Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like when all those productions shut down for COVID, and it's gonna be like things just kind of like not coming out.
Yeah.
And then suddenly everything's coming out.
Which I love. One, because, you know, get these people their rights, you know, or like they deserve to have actual pay and like be able to afford living, especially for what they're doing. So there's that part of it, but also I think we need a refresh. I think we need a pause to especially like things like Marvel, like all these things.
Yeah, I mean, they're
like,
slowing down. Their plan was to slow down
anyway,
regardless of this.
Yeah, but I feel like we need a good pause of like, okay, let's rethink what we want the future of media to look like.
Remap our content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's all starting to blend together. It's all becoming kind of pointless, and it's all just spectacle. I'm like, we need to think through. Like, do some really good storytelling.
I mean, Marvel especially, of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and Star Wars had to do this, and so
Yeah.
they took a step back. They had to think through it, and boom, what did we get? The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But then we got the Book of Boba Fett, and then it was like, okay, guys, chill. And then it was like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we were like, okay, wait.
I was like, how
Go
different
back
are the
to slowing
shows?
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in and out. It's in and out.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
They
But most
want-
importantly, actors and writers' rights.
Yeah. I mean, of course. In the case of like Star Wars, they want to make as much content as possible, but they do have to find that balance of people wanting to watch it. There's, it boosts, it makes them money, but also it like boosts the economy. It gives a lot of people jobs. So there's a benefit to all of these things being in production, as long as they're like not being burnt out like the VFX industry is. But, and I guess Star Wars is the wrong thing to be making if you're not trying to burn out the VFX artists.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, there's just a delicate balance to it all.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else is going on with you?
Not much. This has been a fun weekend. Had
Yeah,
like
it's been
a
a great weekend.
mom-daughter day today, which was really fun. We got our nails done, hung out, went to the mall. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's like the kids are going back to school
Oh.
in like literally a week, in like 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
It's July. What are you talking about?
I'm like, the year is halfway over. That's insane.
This is mid-summer in my head. I don't
right?
What are you talking about?
No, we're getting into fall
Wow.
already. Summer just flew by.
Well, I'm an adult and I have a job, so this doesn't really impact me all that
I know.
much.
I still feel breaks because I'm still in school. And so it's like the fact that my internship is like already almost over, and it got extended, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like it technically is almost over in 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it did go by really fast.
It did.
I will say, though, once I was no longer in school, fall, I think I grew to love the fall time approaching much more in adulthood without the pressure of like school coming up,
Yeah. See, I always loved the start of school. I love the start of school.
I mean, yeah, it could be very exciting.
Yeah. I hate spring because it's like, oh
yeah, spring's a drag.
I hate this. Like,
Yeah.
I just want it to be summer. It's not. We got all these months first, and
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I always like a good back to school. I don't know. It's always like a new start. It's a brand new year.
With like school usually ending around like May or June and then starting back up again around like August or September, the first half of the school year always felt way shorter than the second half.
Well, I feel like it is too, because you also have all those holidays. You have Thanksgiving, you have
true.
Christmas.
That's
like
true.
if you have a fall break, you have a fall break. Like so.
Winter and spring, you were just chugging along. You
Yeah.
just gotta make it through.
Yeah. Yeah. Spring is
The
hard.
months don't stop. It's like you
Yeah.
get 1 week off and then it's like keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. The spring is always such a drag, but I love the fall.
Yeah. Well, like I said, now I just work, so
Just
got to get that paid
constant.
time off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Not a lot. Let's see. Gosh. Finished Zelda. I already talked about that. No need to talk more about that. Last week, I said that I started playing Pikmin 1 again, and I was like, and I could finish it today. And you know what I did? I finished it that day. Great game. Pikmin 4 just came out on Friday. I have not played it yet because I'm trying to be really good about finishing the games that I start. And after I had finished Zelda, I started playing Return of the Obra Dinn, which I at first was not having an easy time getting into. So then I had started Oxenfree, which is like a completely different game. But then I ended up kind of learning. I did a little bit of research about why people like Obra Dinn, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. So then I went back to it and pretty much just played that, and I just finished it today. And it was a great game. I'm thinking about it a lot. It was fantastic. It's this game where it sounds super boring. So you're an insurance agent that finds this trading ship that has been missing for 5 years, and your job is to investigate what happened to the crew of this ship. So you're given a manifest of all of the people's names, their jobs, and where they're from. And you need to then determine who, how they died, or basically what happened to each person. So there's 60 people, and you have to figure out what happened to every single one of them. And you just go around the ship, and you have this like stopwatch compass thing, and you'll find like remains, and you'll use your compass thing, and then you'll get like a snapshot of the moment that person died. And sometimes there'll be like other people who are already dead in that scene. So then you need to like, within that scene of that person being dead, you might find like 2 or 3 other people who are also dead. And you're kind of like, and then you'll go back to the moment of death for them and figure out like what happened here. But the trick is that like there's this drawing of all of the crew members. And so for each moment that you find somebody, you have to determine like, who are they in this drawing? Like, because, well, you know who you're looking at. So you know who they are in the drawing. But then you need to figure out their name and the exact cause of death. And sometimes the exact cause of death is not clear. Or it'll be like, oh, they got shot, and you have to specify who shot them. Which means you have to go figure out the name of that person, too. So it's basically like best described as one giant Sudoku puzzle. That's also like a detective story. And it was just honestly a really mind-blowing experience. At first I was like, this is too complicated, too many mental resources going into this. I don't know. But then once I kind of just kept doing it, then it kind of just became this like, okay, like all other games need to not be happening right now, because this is really, really interesting. And it does take up a lot of your mental energy. So I just need to play this right now. And it only took me like 5 hours to play. Everything online said it would take me like 8 to 10, but I finished it in 5. So
wow.
Yeah.
I remember, was this a game you were playing last night?
Yeah.
And you were is this the chef? Is this the chef? Because when you said that and I like glanced at it, I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. And so hearing you describe it, it sounds cool to me. It sounds like fun.
Cool. Yeah, it's the graphical style it's described by the creator as 1-bit. So it's really just black and white. It's a really interesting art style. It's not even like black and white. I mean, it is black and white, but it's like
a newspaper print.
Yeah. It's got this very like old aesthetic to it. That's very intentional. It's really cool. I totally recommend checking it out. It's only like, I don't know, $10-15. I played it on the Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, great.
Maybe I'll play it.
Great game. I mean, like I said, like it takes up a lot of your mental resources, and you do have to make like some serious guesses at times. But the game has a really good way of accommodating like your ability to take notes within the game, which actually I didn't kind of quite realize until I had like 6 people left to identify.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, yeah, so I finished that today, and then now I'm trying to play Oxenfree, which is just this like small indie game that got a sequel that came out, I think, a week ago. And I always thought it looked kind of interesting. Or I always thought Oxenfree 1 was kind of interesting, and then I forgot about it. And then I saw the trailer for Oxenfree 2 during the most recent Nintendo Direct, and I was like, that looks really neat. So, and then I checked, and Oxenfree 1 was like $2 on sale, and it's only like 5 hours long. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just play that. And so I've been playing it, and it's mostly just like a narrative game. Like you just kind of follow through it, but you play as this girl, and I think her name was Alex. I can't quite remember. And you've got like a new stepbrother, and you're going to go meet your friends on this island that you all live on. But then you're going to go like to this beach late at night and kind of like, get up to some no good teenager stuff. And the gameplay itself is really just like the people around you are talking, and then you're given either 2 options or 3 options of what you would like to say back. And then that basically kind of just guides the dynamics of the conversation. and then you kind of have to like walk around and stuff, but some weird stuff starts to happen, and you have a radio that you have to like dial through sometimes, but then like this weird signal stuff will happen and lights will flash, and it feels a little bit like Stranger Things. It's pretty neat so far. I've only played maybe an hour and a half, which I guess makes me like a third of the way done at this point. So yeah, I mean, interested to keep playing that, and then I'll pick up Pikmin 4 after that. Still playing Final Fantasy 16. I beat the Titan, which was really cool and big and fun and stuff, and I'll keep playing that, but nothing else to say about it.
Gotcha.
There's my update. Go check out Return of the Obra Dinn. I'm going to be recommending this to a lot of people, I think, now. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, that's my update. I believe you are discussing what I shared with you this week, so I will let you take it away, and I'm going to drink some water.
All right. So I was assigned Austin Powers 1.
Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
There we go. I was like, I know I don't have the full title, but I'm sure he does. Okay. So I'm giving a very high-level summary of this. Honestly, it's pretty simple. But basically, Austin Powers, who is played by Mike Myers, not Michael Myers, Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, the famous actor, comedian. He was on Saturday Night Live as a performer for a very long time.
Yeah. So he plays Austin Powers, who was this like womanizing spy in the 70s.
Going straight to the womanizing.
Yes. In the 70s. And he has this like nemesis named Dr. Evil.
The 60s.
Sorry, the 60s.
1967.
My apologies. And he has this nemesis named Dr. Evil, which is also played by him. Correct?
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you knew that.
Yeah.
Like we didn't talk about it. I was like, I wonder if she knows that that's just Mike Myers.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with the world of Austin Powers. I just had never sat down to like watch one.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so in this movie, Dr. Evil freezes himself to basically be thawed out in the 90s, and he ends up threatening to destroy the world, essentially, in the 90s. And so when Dr. Evil freezes himself, Austin Powers also freezes himself to go and defeat him, like to go stop him from destroying the world.
Like whenever he comes back, I'm going to take him out.
Yeah. And so both of them unfreeze in the 90s, and it's essentially just, the movie's just Austin Powers trying to stop him, but also like acclimating to the difference in like culture in the 90s.
Yeah.
And just like the way he talks to women and like the way he dresses and everything like that. It's kind of like, it's off for how you would act in the 90s. So it's supposed to be
definitely
funny.
Yeah.
And so that's literally the story. By the end, he successfully defeats Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil freezes himself again. So I'm assuming in the next movie, Austin also freezes himself to...
No.
Okay. Got you. I hope you found facts... Before we get into it, we won't discuss this now, but I hope you found facts about whether Frisch's Big Boy exists in the UK.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
I was like, that is such an American thing.
So, yeah. The reason that you brought that up was because in the 1967 like UK scene, they go to this club to find Dr. Evil, and there's like a Big Boy.
Yeah, like the big statue, if you're familiar with Frisch's Big Boy.
Is it Frisch? What is
Frisch's.
it? Frisch's?
Yeah, it's like the name, someone's name is Frisch, apostrophe S.
Gotcha. Frisch's Big Boy. No, that was, they put that in there because Mike Myers is from Canada, and
he's from Canada?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They had a like Frisch's Big Boy, like around where he grew up.
Yeah.
So he just put it in there for that.
I was like,
he just thought it would be funny.
Yeah. I was like, does that exist in the UK?
No.
What? Where I grew up, like when I was in elementary school, there was a Frisch's Big Boy like on the corner. And it was just like a diner, like a burger joint. And I was like, there's no way that was in the UK.
No,
that is such, I thought it was like a Southern thing. Anyway.
Turns out it's a Canada thing.
Wow.
Or I don't know if it's a Canada thing, but they had it in Canada.
They had it in Canada. That's also kind of surprising to me. It feels like such a Southern thing. Anyway, so my thoughts on this movie. This movie has like torn me apart this week mentally.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm
not able to pick up on what you mean by that. Please elaborate.
I don't know how I feel about this movie, which is, it's in my mind. I've been like trying to just figure out how do I even feel about this?
Let's unpack that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I liked this movie or not. I honestly didn't love it.
When we watched it, it did not seem like you liked it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard you laugh one time.
I did not find it funny. So the humor is not my kind of humor. I didn't find it funny. But I also didn't hate it. Like it was what it was. And that's why it's been a struggle for me. Because I'm like, well, it wasn't funny. Like, it's supposed to be a comedy. I want to laugh, and I wasn't laughing. But I also enjoyed watching it, I guess. I don't know. I don't even want to say I enjoyed watching it. I just didn't hate it.
So when I was a kid, I watched every Austin Powers movie as they came out, regardless of whether I should have for my age, but I did. And it was okay as a kid growing up, hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
very childish humor.
Very childish. Every stupid little thing is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And having grown up in that generation, and it was it just was very popular.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what Austin Powers was.
Yeah.
So everybody was able to quote Austin Powers.
Yeah.
And quoting Austin Powers is a blast.
Yeah.
It's a very quotable movie, whether or not it's funny in the moment. To be like, I also live dangerously, and to for people to know. To think back on that scene where he's playing blackjack and he's got a 5, and it's you're supposed to hit if you only have 5, and he doesn't because he's stupid. It's just funny.
Yeah. And here's my thoughts on him, on Austin Powers, because this was such an interesting thought. I don't know. I just was very shocked by the way that I responded to Austin Powers. So Austin Powers is absolutely repulsive. Yeah. He's so gross, and he's so he's so dumb.
He's supposed to be.
Exactly. He's supposed to be. And that, and all these women are head over heels for him, and you're like, how? What? And so when he goes to the 90s, there's a woman who is kind of there was a woman that he used to work with in the
Mrs.
60s.
Kensington.
Yeah, and this is her daughter.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of his chaperone essentially, and working with him to stop Dr. Evil. And obviously you're okay, she thinks he's gross, but she's gonna fall in love with him because it's just how it's gonna go. And I'm sitting there ew, why would she love him? But honestly, as we're sitting and watching, there is this part in the movie, and I don't even remember exactly what part, but there was a moment where I was oh, he's kind of cute. And I was oh no, it's happening to me. I'm he's so gross. Why did I think that?
Yeah, they talk about how he's just really charming.
Yeah. It was a moment where he was not being completely dumb, and he was just kind of calm and just had a straight face, or I don't know if he was going through something emotionally in the scene, and I was oh, the little puppy.
Yeah. They got you.
They did, and I was no.
Well, we gotta keep watching them. We gotta watch more of them. After we've watched this one, I'm we gotta watch the next two, because the next two they're just so fun. This one is good. It's the original one. Mm-hmm. But it's also got the least going on. And the next two are just, they're all so dumb.
Yeah.
But there's just so many great quotes that are oh yeah, just gotta watch all of them.
Yeah.
Because as a unit, as a trifecta, that's where the goodness is just making quotes to so many different things, and they're consistent. That all three of them are, I would say, kind of the same quality.
Yeah. The thing that I do absolutely love about this movie, one, the costume design.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss, great. But just the feel of the movie, it feels low budget. I don't know, it feels very set, a set, and it's very it kind of feels a kid's, like a children's like TV show.
The whole thing is meant to be a spoof of James Bond, right?
Yeah.
But like not just spoofing James Bond, but also there's all these like small references to like British media, British television, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting given that Mike Myers isn't British.
Yeah. Which I literally thought he was.
Right.
Because he always plays like I think like Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, did he play like an Irish guy in Bohemian Rhapsody?
Oh, I think so.
British guy.
And then like when he does Shrek, he does like a
I literally thought he was British.
No, not at all.
I was like, he's Canadian.
He's fully Canadian. Yeah.
What?
He's not even remotely British. Yeah, I did read that the idea from the movie came from it's just like he would joke around with his wife using this British accent, and she thought it was so funny that she was like, you should write a movie around that.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And I mean the whole thing is meant to be like a spoof of James Bond, so because it's kind of taking that like retro Bond stuff and then throwing it 30 years into the future, making it feel very like, low budget, but then also kind of having this theme of like, hey, Bond movies are like, old Bond movies especially are kind of like dumb and campy, and he's got these and he's like a total womanizer, and it's just like it's taking that and flipping it on its head and being very intentional about it. And I did read that Daniel Craig said that the Austin Powers movies ruined James Bond, and that's what forced the James Bond franchise to have to pivot for Casino Royale into like a darker, grittier version of James Bond, rather than having any kind of fun to it. Because then you just think about Austin Powers.
The fun out of it.
Because Austin Powers just made fun of it. It was like, hey, it's super campy and dumb, and so
that's hilarious.
There it is.
Wow.
Other fun fact, actually, on that note is that I didn't realize this. Every Austin Powers movie came out the same year as a Bond movie. And all of them had Pierce Brosnan in them.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
It feels like a slap in the face. Like, heh.
Yeah.
We're coming out with one too.
Yeah, exactly. Ours was way less budget, but here it is. Yeah. Gosh. I mean, and there's all kinds of just like, there's a guy, one of Dr. Evil's. So Dr. Evil himself actually is modeled after the Blofeld villain character from the Bond movies. Blofeld was this character that basically dressed exactly like Dr. Evil, but you never saw his face, which is why at the beginning of this movie, you don't see Dr. Evil's face in the 60s. It's not until the 97 era where you see his face, and it's kind of like what would Blofeld's face look like, and then you see it and you're like, but then Christoph Waltz ended up playing that same character in Spectre, and he kind of had like the same kind of like scar thing going down his face, and it was like, did they do that because of Austin Powers? I don't know. Maybe not.
Living it around.
Yeah.
James Bond inspired by Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like in Goldfinger, which is a James Bond movie, Goldfinger, the bad guy, has this henchman that is this dude who wears the tuxedo and has a top hat, and he like throws his hat, and his hat's like razor sharp. And his name's Odd Job. Are you familiar with that? Mm-mm. Okay, so they took that character, and in Austin Powers, Dr. Evil has this henchman who looks exactly like Odd Job, but his name is Random Task, and he throws his shoe instead. And it's like to just make fun of like how stupid it is that Odd Job would throw his hat. It's like, Random Task, show them what you did. His name is Random Task because it's Odd Job. Like, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
If you know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think it was funny when he threw his shoe and it just like hit Austin in the head. He was like, ow. It's like, it's so dumb. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And apparently, Dr. Evil's mannerisms, I never knew this, are based on Lorne Michaels.
Who's that?
executive producer of Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. Like, I have a certain idea of Lorne Michaels based on how I've seen him.
Yeah.
It's not that Dr. Evil like. Maybe he just heavily exaggerated it. Other things I have in here. So it was actually, this first movie was only a modest box office success. It found, especially in the UK, it did very poorly.
I believe that.
Yeah. And it was also right around when Princess Diana died. So, but I also read that, like, it didn't do well because people weren't really interested in this kind of thing once Princess Diana died. But then something else did really well later, not Austin Powers, but something else did really well later that had something to do with Princess Diana dying that did really well because Princess Diana died. It was kind of a weird piece of trivia.
Yeah.
I didn't quite fully understand it. But modest box office success, but it was a big hit for like home video sales, even in the UK. And like that's when I watched it, we rented it at Blockbuster.
I was gonna say, I could see like if I saw Austin Powers sitting on the shelf at Blockbuster, like I would grab it because it's like eye catching, you know? It's like what is this? What is this?
The whole that thing that you said earlier about how it's like, oh, it's not. I didn't hate it, but it also wasn't like laughing out loud the whole time watching either. Despite that, you can tell that there is like when you really kind of pay attention, there is a lot of like that feeling doesn't give the movie the credit that it deserves because it actually does like make a lot of really good references and like there was a lot of kind of like wit put into a lot of the creative choices.
No, I can see that. Like I think because I'm also not a James Bond fan,
right?
So it's like it's just like for me it's just like, okay, this is just like a dumb man, like he's just doing dumb stuff, and it's like, so I mean and there were some parts I did find funny, I just wasn't laughing out loud, like I was like, it's like a that's funny. Yeah. You know? Like but I wouldn't, it's like weird because it's like if you were like, okay, if you, like you say, like, let's watch them all, and I wouldn't hate that. Like, I'd be like, I'd be down for an Austin Powers marathon. Like, it'd be fun, you know? Yeah. But yeah, it's just like.
I mean, it's still, despite the fact that it is making a joke about things from the 60s not aging well into the 90s.
Yeah.
Now it being like almost 30 years later since this, it's kind of like, it almost feels the same of like, Austin Powers is not aging super well into the 2020s.
Yeah. Interesting.
Final fact that I have is that Will Ferrell, this was his feature film debut.
Oh no. That's tragic.
Yeah. Well, Will Ferrell's character, let's just say his name is like Mustafa, which kind of tells you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
That did not age well.
Not at all.
But he has this part where he like falls into, like Dr. Evil presses the button and his chair like sends him into the fire. But he like survives the fire, and like that was always kind of like a classic scene as a kid, and it was like really funny. He's like, help, I can't, I'm very badly burned. I need help. And they shoot him, and then he's like, you shot me. Like,
he just like won't
you
die.
think he's dead? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic. It's that's the thing. It's like it's all dumb, but it's just funny to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it did so well with the home video sales.
Yeah.
Because word of mouth I think really gave this film a lot of life.
Yeah. So we're like, comparison, which do you like better, Monty Python or Austin Powers?
Those are two different kinds of questions.
I feel like they're the same kind of like dumb humor.
Yeah,
I think Monty Python
Monty
does
Python
it better.
Monty Python is just inherently like better.
Yeah.
Because it's older and it's like, I mean, yeah, Monty Python is like genius. But yeah, maybe that is what it is about Austin Powers. Like when I was a kid, I thought Monty Python was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen. 30, 40 years later. And but then like as an adult, I don't just like inherently find Monty Python funny. It's a combination of like nostalgia, but then also like knowing that it is funny, like because you can quote it to people and it's like it's very silly and fun, but like it's not, you don't just like get it right when you see it, you know?
Really? Because I remember when we watched it and I really liked it and I thought it was funny.
I was not picking up on you thinking that it was that funny.
I feel like I said it in the podcast.
We didn't.
Didn't we?
We
didn't watch it for the podcast.
We didn't watch it for the podcast.
I'm getting confused. But I remember like thinking it was funny because then after we were like quoting it, and I was like, oh, I liked this part and I liked this part and I liked this part. So yeah.
That's why we got to watch the rest of the Austin Powers movies. There's so much fun quoting that we have to do.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember a word from this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, we're not so different, you and I. That comes back later. Don't worry about it.
I don't know who said that.
Dr. Evil says that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun, silly stuff. Like when the guy gets his head eaten off by the sea bass and he's like, not a good time to lose one's head.
I don't remember that part.
He was like, he'll never be the head of a major corporation.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so dumb.
Silly.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, no, I did not think that you liked this movie when we were watching it.
I didn't hate it.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to say?
I got nothing.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right, let's move things along.
Awesome.
All right, so this week I was assigned a film called Frozen. It's about Anna and Elsa.
No. Wrong
Where are they from?
From Utah.
Utah. Yeah, this movie takes place in Utah, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, so I was assigned Frozen, not the Disney version, but the chairlift, being stuck on a chairlift horror movie.
Yeah.
That was made before Frozen. So
yeah, it came out in 2010.
Yes. So Frozen is the easiest way to sum it up is that three friends go on a snow trip, and through happenstance, they end up stuck on a chairlift with no one knowing that they're on that chairlift, and they're just stuck there. And that's the setup. You know, if you were giving your one sentence summary, there it is. It's open water on a chairlift.
Yeah.
Done.
I love those kinds of movies.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It made me think about like, what other scenarios can one cook up?
Oh, I'm sure there's
like,
tons.
Oh, we were stuck on a cherry picker.
What is that?
With that like you get in a booth thing, like in a square box, and then it like lifts you up so you can like rescue somebody or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like, we got stuck in a slide at the
Stuck
playground.
on a zip line.
There you go.
In the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, see? These things write themselves. You just gotta
we should make one.
Yeah, throw a couple in there, and they'll figure it out. Any situation where you might have like slight anxiety doing it,
yeah,
it's like yes,
perfect.
Because what is so effective about this movie is that you think to yourself, if I was stuck in that situation on a chairlift, what would I do to get myself out of it?
Yeah.
And the movie knows all of those things.
Yeah.
Because we're all thinking the same things.
And what I really loved is you were saying what you would do, and I'm like, all right, you're going to see it play out. You didn't know that you were going to see it play out.
Right. No, I didn't.
But I was like, that's what
I was
he
like,
would do.
well, you could jump. I think you'd be okay if you did that. Or you could climb up the chair and like go across the wire until you get to one of those tower things, because there's stairs or there's a ladder on that. Like, easy. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You were like, I know how to survive this. I was like, okay.
So the characters' names are Joe, Dan, and then Dan, like Joe and Dan are best friends, and then Dan's girlfriend, Parker. So, like, Dan decides, he's the one that decides, like, I'm going to try jumping off because Parker's getting frostbite and, like, I need to take care of my woman. So he's like, I'm going to jump off. And so, like, when he jumps off, he immediately breaks his legs. And it's just like,
so gross.
His legs are just like destroyed.
Trigger warning for those who are kind of squeamish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Too late. But yeah, his legs are like bent every which way.
Yeah,
and he's just
bone
like,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, oh my God.
I broke my legs. They're like, can you scoot?
Yeah, they're like, They're like, can you like scoot back to the lodge though? Can you slide?
He's
And
like, I literally
he's
can't.
Like, literally, my legs are like over there, you know? It's like,
I hate to laugh. It's
Yeah.
actually really sad.
No, it is rough.
Yeah.
Like, it is very rough.
Yeah.
Cause like this very much feels like a B movie. Mm-hmm. And yet when I was watching this, I was still like, oh,
yeah,
God.
I can't look at that. I absolutely hate bones out of like leg.
Yeah.
I can't do broken bones. And so, yeah, I had to close my eyes anytime they showed it because I was like, I will throw up.
So it's like, okay, yeah, Dan is stuck on the ground in the middle of the night with his legs broken, and he's like, ah, but he's still alive, right? Well, wolves.
You know?
So there's a part where, yeah, oh my gosh, so much stuff happens. Yeah, Joe is like, okay, jumping off did not work. Dan is
not gonna do that.
Yeah, Dan is down there messed up. So I'm gonna try climbing on the wire. And as soon as he starts trying to climb on the wire, he's like, ooh, like the wire's cutting up my gloves really bad.
Yeah.
And then he starts to hear the wolves, and he's like, oh my God. And he goes back to the chair, and Dan is like, Joe, don't let Parker watch. Don't let her watch, bro. And he's like, I won't, bro. And then he just gets eaten by a wolf.
Oh, and it's
super
terrible.
hard. Yeah.
It's so bad. The sounds.
Rough.
Yeah.
Super rough.
And those wolves are scary.
Yep. And then from there, you know, like it's the next day, and Joe and Parker are just like they're just chatting to cope, talking about Dan. Like, oh, remember Dan?
Yeah.
He died last night. And like, I guess we haven't covered how they even got into this situation in the first place. Like, really what happened was that they were on this trip not wanting to pay for ski lift tickets because they're super expensive. So they tried to convince the chairlift operator to, like, they gave him $100, and which, like, yeah, not even $100 will cover it. They give him $100, and he's like, fine, that's whatever. And then, like, they do some runs, but Parker's like not very good at skiing or snowboarding, so they're on the bunny slopes the whole time. And Joe's like, come on, Dan, I want to go on the real stuff. So then, like, before the end of the night, they're like, this is our last chance, we got to go do something. Mm-hmm. But they're like, hey, we don't want any more chairs going up because we got really bad weather coming in. So the chairlift operator guy is like, no, we're not letting anybody up. And they're like, come on, man, just one. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, like, just come back really fast. Yeah. But then he knows, like, okay, they're still up there. But then his boss is like, I need to talk to you. And then another guy comes in to fill for him, and he's like, there's 3 more coming down, though, so remember that. And so then we cut to the main characters going up the chairlift, but then 3 people are coming down, and they're like, oh, look at those guys, not knowing that that's going to lead to their fate. Mm-hmm. And so the guy's like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. 3 people just came down. There you go. Mm-hmm. Shut it down. Yeah. And it's like, you know, there's one point where, like, they don't immediately notice, like, that they are in a bad situation. They're like, come on, turn it back on. But then all the lights turn off. Yeah. That was very dramatic.
And the scary thing is, so it all happens on a Sunday. The slopes are not open again until Friday.
Yeah, so they don't know if anybody's going to come back.
Yeah.
But, like, at one point there's a snowplow guy, but he doesn't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Dan jumps off bye Dan.
Yeah.
And then then it's the next day. They're just experiencing super bad frostbite. Parker like lost her glove, so her hand got like frozen to the safety bar. And then she likes to like peel her skin off, and then her hand's bleeding. That was rough.
That was so gross.
Yeah,
she did some phenomenal acting with that.
Yeah, she did pretty good with that.
Yeah.
It just kind of gets to the point where Joe then he just decides like, whatever, I'm just gonna do it, and he climbs up, he gets on the wire, and he goes all the way to the tower, and he climbs down, and he's my hands are messed up, but the wolves are still there.
But also important to note, when he does climb over, it like loosens a screw or something on the original chair that they're on, that Parker's still on.
Yeah.
So her chair is like kind of almost
tilted,
about to,
and she's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna fall off."
About to fall off. Yeah.
And so he's like, "Parker, I'll come back for you." And he like gets the snowboard. He gets the snowboard and like slides away, trying to get away from the wolves. And we don't know what happens to him. But then Parker, like the chairlift falls off, but then it's dangling by a wire, so she like got a little bit lower, and then it falls down, and then she's good. She fell from a safe enough distance to be fine.
Yeah.
But it's been like 2 days at this point, so she's struggling.
Yeah.
And then
the chair fell on her foot.
Oh yeah.
But luckily she had that big boot on, so it didn't break it.
I couldn't help but laugh when the chair fell on her foot, because I was like, yeah, why not? Rough times.
Add one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah.
She's like sliding away, but then she finds the wolves, but then like turns out they're eating Joe, and Joe didn't make it, which that sucked. I liked Joe.
Which we forgot to mention too. So when Joe leaves to get help, a whole night passes.
Yeah.
And so she wakes up and she's kind of like, it's been a whole day.
And
I
I
don't know that he made it.
Joe's
and so then it's
done.
just like verified once she sees his half-eaten body with the wolves that he didn't make it.
Yeah, but then she's found by somebody who's driving by, and then she's going to be okay, cut to black, and then roll the credits.
She's going to be okay. She's going to need years of therapy.
Years of therapy and a doctor.
I hope she sues the
ski
slopes.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Even though it's kind of their fault. But
yes,
at the same time, there should be a protocol to check the chairs.
Yeah, well, this is how it always happens. This is how it happened in open water. This is how it happened here.
Yeah,
they didn't have a good enough protocol for checking.
Yep, gotta have those protocols tight.
Yep. So that's the whole movie. That's it. Yep.
You were like, at least one person survived this one.
Yeah. Open water, spoilers, but yeah, they don't make it in open water.
Nope.
And in this one, yeah, at least one person made it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yay!
It's like, again, it's stupid, but it's a stupid setup. The story is inherently entertaining, because it's something that would frighten us if we were stuck in that situation.
Yeah.
And it's a very real anxiety that like a child might experience growing up, going on chairlifts for the first time. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, which like I definitely did, and then as an adult you see it and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's why that was an anxiety as a kid.
Yeah.
And for its premise, it's done perfectly. Like it's you couldn't have made a better movie with this scenario. It's just like, yeah. Even all of like the dumb dialogue drama that they experience while they're sitting up there, it's like perfect. Yeah, have that. Please put that in there.
Yeah.
And everything just looks real all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure it was real all the time.
Yeah. So I have a fact about it. Everything was completely real. It's all practical. There's no CGI. There's no soundstage. There's no nothing. They are really up there on a ski lift, 50 feet high. The wolves are real.
Were the wolves or were they huskies?
So
They looked like
there
huskies.
were real wolves, but there was also some parts with like huskies. Like there's the part with Joe, there was supposed to be a German Shepherd that like grabs Joe, because you see the real dog grab his arm.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be a German Shepherd. The German Shepherd suspiciously died 2 days before shooting, so they put in a husky. I mean, not to laugh at that. That's really sad.
Did it get its parvo shot?
Right.
That's usually how it happens.
Yeah. So, but those are where the animals with Dan are real wolves. And I have an interesting fact about that.
I would love to hear that fact. Please share.
So, when Dan, the guy who plays Dan, whose name is Kevin Zegers, did the scene with the wolves that are like swarming around him, he was actually there. He didn't use a stunt double. And one of the wolves got a little too close for comfort. And so the trainers had to pull the wolf away, and the film, he had to stop. But in the film, you can see a few frames of a black wolf that walks right up to him. And you see him like look away to get help from the crew.
Oh.
So it was real wolves.
Dang.
I'm like, how do you train wolves?
I would not want to be in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what more do you want out of this premise,
Yeah. Well,
I got nothing else.
Yeah. To talk a little bit more about the practical aspect of it. So like I said, the actors and actresses and actress were suspended 50 feet in the air on a real mountain in Utah. And so to get you were like, oh, the shots of the chair moving are really interesting. So
yeah, what about like when he was climbing across the cable? Like, was he suspended or was there just a guy going across?
I think he might have been suspended. I didn't get facts on that.
Yeah,
but I feel like I saw something about.
And are those cables like really as sharp as it was in the movie?
I don't know.
That it would cut through his gloves if you were suspending yourself?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine it probably has to have some grip, because otherwise it would your chairs would slide, right?
Right. But does grip equal sharpness of a cable?
I don't know.
I haven't managed a lot of cables in my time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can imagine it could be pretty sharp.
Yeah, same.
I mean, you hear stories about, if a cable is like, like flipping through the air, it could really cut things up.
Yeah.
But
excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't get facts on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good.
But to get shots of the chair moving, the director, who's Adam Green, and the director of photography had to shoot everything themselves up there, because what do
you mean?
I think it's just them two with the camera up on a chair as well, like filming the shots
from behind them.
From in front of them, right? Because wasn't everything from in front of them?
So you're telling me,
I think,
that the director and the cinematographer got on a chairlift in front of the actors, and that's how they filmed it?
So, the moving shots, not when they're still.
Oh, the moving shots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the right call.
Yeah.
You probably just have to use the right lens for that.
Yeah. But this was a challenge because the director is afraid of heights.
That sucks.
Yeah. I also saw the fact that the director had never been to a ski resort in his life. So it's
did he write the movie too?
He wrote it, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that kind of checks out.
Yeah.
Never even been to one, and he's like, well, that could be an interesting premise. It seems scary.
I mean, if he's afraid of heights, that would be probably his worst fear. Yeah.
Good for you, man. Go Adam.
Yeah. So apparently at the Sundance Film Festival, Adam Green told a story about how the spot where they shot the movie was supposedly haunted. Trigger warning.
What?
There was a suicide that happened. And this was confirmed by an audience member who knew the person who committed suicide. I think they had jumped off one of the chairs to commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And that was shot in the same spot.
Wow. In Utah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I Googled, is it possible to die from falling from a chairlift?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find a whole lot. I did find a case in 2007, a guy had an itch on his foot or something, and he leaned forward, or maybe it was like not an itch, but like some discomfort on his leg, and he leaned forward and he fell and ended up perishing. But I guess it just depends on the ski lift that you're on.
It's got to be depending on the height.
Yeah.
Like if you're high enough, and especially if you land on your like head, you land on your neck,
right,
you're gonna die.
I just like, ski lifts freak me out.
They do. Okay.
To this day.
I literally told you. So we went skiing with your dad.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. That was my first time. I've never been skiing in my life. And we got on after we did the bunny slopes, once I got the hang of skiing, and we were like, okay, we can handle getting on a little bit of a steeper slope. When we were on that chairlift, this was the movie I thought of.
Yeah.
And obviously I wasn't going to say that. Why would I? But I was like, oh my gosh. Because like we got high, and I am not afraid of heights. But I was like, okay. I was like, this is a little eerie. This is a little like freaky.
Like it's a very dangerous situation to just be in.
Yeah. And like there are times where the chairs stop because like someone needs a little bit more assistance getting on the chair or whatever. And so like you are kind of stopped just real high up. And I was thinking
it makes you wonder.
Yeah, the two things I thought of were first this movie, and second I was like, what if I lose a ski? Like what if one of my skis drop and like falls off and it's just down in the trees and I only have one ski?
And then when you get off, you're gonna
like, how am I gonna get down?
You're just gonna have to eat it when you get off.
Literally. I mean, it's so hard to get off the chair for me. Like getting on the chair, fine. Getting off, trying to like, especially when there's a few of you on one chair.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna eat it anyway.
No, it's fun. But yeah,
I had a
I'm bad
blast.
at it.
It was so fun, but I was also, a little nervous.
Very scary.
It's very scary, and I was not the best at slowing
Even
down.
Just going down, yeah.
Because I didn't quite at first understand, like, you need to make your like S's so that you're not just plowing down.
And my dad was the one that was like instructing us, and his whole thing is like he's gonna describe it to you and then just throw you into the fray.
And your dad was like, Aaliyah, you were flying.
I
was like, because I didn't know.
I was worried about it. Like she's just going. I
was like dragging my poles because I was like, I don't know how to slow down.
Eventually we just kind of got to a spot where it like evened out.
But it was a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie.
Like pizza.
I was pizzaing a lot.
Good times on the slopes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't have any more facts. I do have some questions.
Oh, smart.
So
I gotta write more questions.
Yeah. The first one's a bit morbid.
Oh, great. Okay.
So I hate to be a downer.
On our super fun podcast.
I know. So in the movie, they have a conversation of like, what's like the scariest way to die? Like, it's like a little bit of it's a little bit of like a foreshadow. So I wonder, like, what is a terrifying way to die to you?
Any method, I
understand that.
Any method that's not just dying of old age.
Yeah.
Any method that's like sudden.
Yeah.
Or like, just inherently like before somebody's time to go in nature.
Yeah.
Whether that is somebody being like killed or murdered by somebody.
Yeah.
Or like an accident.
Yeah.
All of them bad. Like freaks me out.
Yeah.
It especially freaks me out when I watch things where in a movie or a show where somebody is like just alive 1 second and then like say somebody uses a gun and they're big trigger warning, man.
Very big trigger warning.
And they're just like not alive the next second. That just freaks me out. That you could just be dead so quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, a slow death is way worse.
Yeah.
So like burning alive seems pretty awful. Freezing to death also seems pretty awful.
Yeah.
Falling. Well, I mean, yeah, that would suck, but yeah, I think burning to death. Mm-hmm. Burning or freezing.
Yeah.
Anything that's slow, that just seems awful.
Yeah.
Drowning wouldn't be a top of my list either.
Yeah. Those, I mean, like,
I want to die on a hospital bed with all the people I love around me.
I want to die in my sleep. That would be ideal.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, I totally get that. See, for me though, because those are like, it makes sense. Like, sorry, how do I phrase this? Like, those
this
are like,
is your question.
Those are like common accidents that would lead to death. For me, the scary stuff is the stuff that you wouldn't think leads to, like, I think the reason why like Final Destination is so freaky is because it's like, these are things that aren't supposed to lead to death. Well, and the fact that something so simple as like you falling in the shower and the curtain wraps around you. Like, it's like that freaks me out. It's like everything's dangerous.
But the thing about Final Destination is that those things wouldn't happen. Those deaths in Final Destination movies are not plausible, and that's what makes it like entertaining.
Well, I feel like the first one, some of those like kind of.
Nah.
I mean, once it got ridiculous and gory, then it's like, all right. But like,
well, yeah.
But there are freak accidents. Like, I think about like
that shower one. I'm like, I know what I would have done.
Yeah. But I don't know, there are just like freak accidents, like when you hear in the news like some weird thing just happened, and it's like, I never was afraid of that, and now it's unlocked a new fear. Like, that's like a saying, you know,
it's not supposed to happen.
Exactly. That's the things that freak me out, the things that aren't supposed to happen.
But you can't live your life being worried that they are going to happen.
No, but at the same time, I'm like, those types of things are a little bit more scarier than like, I don't know, like having a heart attack, which like a heart attack is very scary, but like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, because it's just like, who would think that would happen?
Have you seen the live action Death Note movie?
No, because it seems terrible.
It sucks, but I might assign it to you.
I don't. Is it like Nat Wolf?
It's Nat Wolf.
No.
When he first discovers the Death Note, he's like, okay, I'll try it. And there's like a bully outside.
Oh no.
And he like writes down the bully's name, and then he writes like decapitation. And then as soon as he writes that, like a basketball falls down the street, and the truck like swerves, which then and the truck had like a ladder on it, and the ladder like shoots off and decapitates the bully.
Like, that's terrifying. That's so scary.
Yeah, no.
Even though it's like absolutely ridiculous, like it's so scary.
And I'm not crazy about the Final Destination movies, because I think it's kind of like, I don't know, a little sickening.
It is.
At the same time, that live action Death Note movie, when it was doing Final Destination stuff, that was when it was its most entertaining, because it sucks. It's so bad. It's a bad movie.
Oh God, no. Yeah. Sorry to get us deep into that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'm sorry. My second question, you might have mentioned it, I don't know. Okay. Does this make you more afraid to go skiing?
No, just because I've been.
Yeah.
You know, I did it as a kid. I was scared when I was a kid. I think when we went 2 years ago, it was my first time in like 20 years. So I was still like a little afraid. Because I just had a very tough time as a kid, with like ski lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
And like not knowing where I was supposed to be. Like they have like a thing that kind of pulls you up a small slope.
Yeah.
It's like a cable that has these little like bars on it, and you can like, you grab the bar and it pulls you up. And then you kind of like go down, and it's like very flat.
Yeah.
And one time I, like, me being 5 or 6, I kept going up and down because that's what my class was doing. And I guess I just like lost track of everybody. And the next class was like, hey, you're not one of our kids.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah. And the people who were supposed to be watching me left me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
sue them. They left a child?
Yeah, they left me.
On a mountain?
I mean, great.
The wolves could have gotten you.
No. It's like right next to the lodge, you know? Like,
still,
it's not hard to find me if you go looking.
If you're managing children,
right,
you really have to be careful
right.
and make sure you account for
You need
everyone.
to have a system.
Exactly.
And they didn't have a system.
Fear unlocked.
Yeah.
This movie can happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah. My favorite skiing is running into a tree and like hitting my head.
So I was reading about that when I was reading into the chairlift death statistics. People do die every year from skiing, and 95% of them are from hitting trees.
Yeah. Like or like falling and like tumbling when I fall and like hurting my neck and like.
It's inherently a dangerous activity.
It really, honestly, I think about because like your dad loves to ski.
My dad loves to ski. He lives for it. He skis. If there was 100 days of skiing available for the year, he would ski 112. You know, like.
Yeah. I think about it. I'm like, okay, if we go visit and he's like, let's go skiing. I'm like, I'm kind of scared. Like, even though I did it the one time and it was fun, I'm like, I think I will always just think of all the possible the possible ways I can get hurt.
That one slope we did, I'm like, I think that's the most I could ever do.
Yeah. Like, that was actually.
And it wasn't a bunny slope. It was like.
It was pretty steep.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, like, it had like a middle part.
Yeah.
Where you could stop.
Yeah.
Get yourself together before you finish it out. Yeah.
It does seem like it would be really cool to be good at skiing and to like go really high up a mountain and just be cruising. Like that just seems like it could be a blast, but I'm not good enough at it.
Yeah.
So it just seems terrifying.
Yeah. No, I'm scared. I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
I'm sure it's not the last time we're going to go skiing.
I know. I'm like, I did it the one time. That's enough success for me.
I know. Well, any other questions?
That's all I had.
Okay. Fun.
I'm glad you liked the movie.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy the movie.
I love movies. Like, I am not a horror movie person, but these kinds of movies I absolutely love.
Yeah,
because like you said, it's like you're like, what would I do?
Right. And it's like, I couldn't have made a better movie. Out of this premise.
I was reading like a Screen Rant article about this movie and they were like talking very highly about it. They were like, this is like, it's such a simple movie, but it's done flawlessly.
Right. Like if Christopher Nolan tried to direct this movie, it would have all kinds of wacky editing for no reason. It would start the movie with her getting off of the chair or something. Or
start backwards.
We would get the wolf's perspective.
Movies from the wolf's perspective.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I want to see that.
Like, it would be overcomplicated for no reason.
Exactly, and that's the thing that makes these kind of movies so wonderful is the simplicity of it, because it makes you feel like you're just somebody who's witnessing this thing happening. Like, it's just documenting this event. And there's nothing more added to it. It doesn't need all the embellishments. It's just like, give me the raw, just straight days, days of whatever's going on.
You know exactly what you're getting when you watch this.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you get.
Yeah. It's great.
What more could you want?
Yeah. Go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime for free.
Yeah, it's a decent watch. Even knowing, I knew pretty much everything that was going to happen because you had kind of told me at one point.
Which I'm so sad that I did that.
Whatever. I still enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah. I didn't even remember that I did that.
Yeah. I think it was during the open water episode that you talked about it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I don't think I have any more of these kinds of movies. Maybe I'll watch some.
Yeah, I'm really wondering, like, what other scenarios can somebody be put in?
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I want to watch the window washer movie.
Oh my gosh, no.
The window washer is stuck.
No, I feel like the only other ones is like stranded on an island type of.
It's got to be a tourist doing some kind of activity that is inherently dangerous, but also requires supervision from a professional.
Yeah.
So what do we got?
Snorkeling.
Well, snorkeling was that's literally what open water was. Surfing? No. So they've done the ocean.
Yeah.
How about hot air balloon? No. Because you wouldn't get separated from them, right? Oh, actually, no. You could do what if you did a hot air balloon movie where a couple is in the hot air balloon and the instructor was supposed to get in, but like, I don't know, maybe a dog like accidentally pulls the thing and it like lifts them up and they take off and they've got the hot air balloon without the instructor.
But like hot air balloons are pretty simple. Like they're
going to land in the ocean.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would have to be something like you go skydiving, but then you end up separated from a group, like your group or whatever, and like end up somewhere stranded. Like that's like the only other thing. Skydiving wouldn't work
because that's like a 45-second experience, you know?
I don't know. It would have to be something where you just get stranded from people. Because like a hot air balloon, you can like navigate on your own to get down.
How? What would you do?
Well, you just let it go down, right? Use the fire. All it is like a lever.
Yeah, but like, true. What if, I don't know.
It's just like you might land somewhere stranded.
Right. Exactly. I get. Is that just up?
It's Castaway.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. I don't keep thinking about this.
Yeah, let's brainstorm. Let's create our own.
Yeah, zipline movie. What are some other activities people do? Roller coasters? Is there being stuck on a roller coaster?
They have ladders.
Oh, yeah. And they do have like the stairs on the sides. Mm-hmm. Dang.
Yep.
What about being stuck in a Chuck E. Cheese? Just kidding. That's what Five Nights at Freddy's is supposed to be, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know of any other like things you would do. Parasailing? Like, no.
Parasailing? Yeah. What if you were on a banana boat?
Oh my gosh, don't say that. I literally was on a banana boat.
I know.
No, literally my mom was like, I never thought about the fact that we were out there and there's sharks.
Oh my gosh. Don't think about that. No, like the activity can't involve the ocean because it's already been done.
Yeah.
You know,
need something different.
There's ocean, snow,
desert.
What do people do for fun in the desert? The sand dunes?
Ride camels.
Okay. You're stranded in the desert. There's something there.
I mean, like the true story of the boys who were stuck in the cave.
What? Oh yeah. Okay. Cave movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, but it was true story.
That was like legit.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That actually happened. That sucks.
Didn't they get saved though?
They did.
They got saved.
They
so
did.
That's good.
They did. I think one guy that was on the rescue team did die though.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something.
Yeah. Literally as soon as that happened, I was like, well, who's going to play the kids in the movie? I was like, who's going to direct the movie? Ron Howard, of course, was the guy that ended up directing it. There is a movie.
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh, the kids that get stuck in the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when all the news was happening, I was like, this is going to end up being a movie. And not only was it a movie, there was a documentary that was directed by the Free Solo people. But Ron Howard ended up making a movie. Frickin' Colin Farrell was one of the guys that played one of the rescuers in the Ron Howard movie.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
I think it was like Colin Farrell and Viggo Mortensen, I think. Mm-hmm. The guy that plays Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a full-blown movie. Came out like a year or two ago.
Goodness, that's my fear. Like being shut in somewhere.
Yeah.
Can't get out.
All right. Any other scenarios? Stuck in the basement.
Volcano.
They already did all the volcano movies.
Dang.
Literally 1997, Volcano and Dante's Peak. Same year.
Well.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll have to
we got the chairlift movie. That's right on.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel like we're missing something. What if
you're stuck in New York?
Yeah. Home Alone 2.
Literally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's true.
What if a skyscraper was built and my family was on the level above me and some bad guys took over the building?
Die Hard?
No, it's actually Skyscraper. The Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie. Skyscraper.
Oh my gosh. Well, in San Andreas, when the earthquake
he did the earthquake movie.
When the earthquake hits in San Andreas, doesn't what's her name? The girl with the scary eyes. She like is stuck in a
Carla
car
Gugino?
in the garage. No, with the black hair. Who's in like the little?
I haven't seen San Andreas.
Oh, the girl who's who's in White Lotus, who I was like, oh, I don't like that girl, and I don't know why. The actress who was
Which
also
season?
who's in the first season.
What character did she play?
Stop asking me questions. In the when we're at the movie,
Sydney
she
Sweeney?
does like the children's little commercial for like the children's center that she
Oh,
works for.
Alexandra Daddario.
There we go. That woman. I think she gets like stuck in a car.
She's
in
got the
garage.
bright blue eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about her is off-putting to me.
I get it.
But I think she gets stuck in a car in like a parking garage underneath like a skyscraper, and it like had collapsed. So it's like.
And he's got his like handy dandy helicopter, and he's got to save
get
her
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see San Andreas.
I've seen it too many times. It's always on TV.
Remember Rampage?
I never saw Rampage.
I wanted to see Rampage.
Is that like a gorilla movie?
Yeah. Oh, it's
like King Kong.
It's everything. It's
everything.
Yeah. Well, so Rampage was a video game. It was like big gorilla, big lizard, big wolf.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm pretty sure in the live action movie they did all three. Did they do the wolf? I don't remember if they did the wolf.
I don't know.
I know they did. They did the super cheesy trailers where he's like the gorilla is Dwayne The Rock Johnson's like buddy, and then the gorilla like gets sick with some kind of chemical or something because of science, and he starts to get really big. And in the trailer, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's like, I just want to know what's happening to my friend. God. And yeah, and then he's like, George.
No.
Yeah. I kind of want to watch it now.
I hate it.
Sounds so dumb.
So stupid.
And I think it's the same director from San Andreas as well.
It
wouldn't surprise me if the skyscraper guy was the same guy.
I'm like, The Rock better be glad for his wonderful personality and like handsome looks and everything.
He's carrying these movies.
Because these movies suck.
Yeah.
90% of the movies he's in are just outrageous.
All right. Maybe let's wrap things up.
Yeah, that sounds good. So next week we will be taking a break because your parents will be in town. Yep. So we want to make sure that we're spending time with them. We won't have time to record the podcast. So we'll have 2 weeks before our next episode.
Yes. So knowing that, thought it would be a good time to strategize what kind of thing to give you based on your time commitment. Am I assigning first?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You already started.
So I'm giving you a show. I have talked about this many times, and I decided, you know what? It's time. We're doing it. All right? We're doing it.
Okay.
What do you think we're doing?
Is it JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
What? No. Why would it be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I don't know. I thought you were going to give me an anime.
I am going to give you an anime. Why would it be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
You said you wanted me to watch that.
I've only seen 5 episodes of JoJo's Bizarre
I
Adventure. I
could have sworn you said like, I really want to assign you that one.
Well, I mean, I think me seeing 5 episodes qualifies it, does it not? Everybody talks really highly of like the second season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I've never seen it. I don't know what's good about it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would technically qualify. Anyway, so yes, I'm giving you an anime. What do you think I'm giving you? And I'm saying we're finally doing it.
I know.
We were just talking about this last week.
It's not One Piece. Is
No,
it? Yeah,
no.
it's
I literally mentioned 3 anime last week.
I know. But I forgot what you said.
What's my favorite anime?
Is it not One Piece?
Nope. Well, I mean, maybe. One Piece could.
I'm like,
maybe.
you've made such a commitment. It better be your favorite anime.
I know. Well, it just kind of exists on a different plane to me.
Yeah.
So
I'm blanking.
What's my favorite anime under 200 episodes?
I'm blanking.
Okay, what do I always say is the best anime? What did I literally say
you're like, this
last week?
If I were to give somebody an anime, it would be this. And I don't remember what it was.
I said either Cowboy Bebop or this.
You know I have bad memory. I can't remember.
It's literally in last week's episode. We talked about it on recording a week ago.
If y'all didn't know, I have the worst memory. And so this is
a perfect exhibition of that.
Yeah, I have no memory.
Okay. I am giving you Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I knew it.
Not Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yes.
I knew that.
Very key difference there.
Okay.
Anyway, we're finally doing it. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I have been waiting since we started this podcast to do this, and now's the time. Now is the time.
All right, cool. Well, I thought about giving you a show as well, but then you were like, that's 2 shows we have to watch.
I mean, that's fine. We can do
I feel like that's a lot.
Okay.
2 shows is a lot. So I'm going to give you a movie, and since I gave you kind of a downer this last time, I'm going to give you just like a silly, fun movie. I'm going to give you...
Is it going to be on par with Full Metal Alchemist in
Not
terms
at
of quality?
Not at all. I'm giving you the Adam Sandler movie, Grown Ups.
Oh! Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. I dig it.
We're wrapping up summer.
Yeah,
this is a very summery movie.
Yeah. I've never seen Grown Ups.
I love it.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Grown Ups and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a great matchup.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Oh, it's... Ooh. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks for Grown Ups and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
What a random duo.
Oh, they're so starkly different.
They are.
That is so funny. Okay, excellent. We'll see you then. Hope you enjoyed the episode and have a great 2 weeks.
Yeah, have a good 2 weeks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.